Ui, vambora. Continuar, né? Vai investigar o cais do sul, né? Do sul.
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers. Let's see what Uncle Soon has to say.
Tio Sun. Ó, o tio Sun, ele tá ali. Ó, os peixão. Ali também vende peixe, hein?
Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Estamos aqui para perguntar sobre uma pessoa. Viemos comprar algumas informações.
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the, Liuwei Anglers Association, and we just wanted to ask a few questions about someone. We've heard about this young man called Zhi, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman. Just wondering if you happen to have heard of him?
Whoa! Yeon made up a whole fake identity. With how bad
Tá acostumada, pai. Tá acostumada.
Yes, Jury. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place, and they tell me everywhere they go they meet someone who's heard of him. Apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. Had to work several jobs alongside his studies to make ends meet. How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if there's anything to that logic, he's sure to be phenomenally successful one day.
Yeah, we think so too.
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
Oh? Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one thing. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he catches to me on occasion. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about. If you're looking to recruit some new members, though,
Ó,
I
ele
do
achou
know a
uma
few
coisa
top
ruim
anglers
que não
I
é
could put you
tão
in touch
nada
with.
demais alarmante.
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to right now, though, so why don't I come back some other time and we can chat over a drink?
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Ó, descobrimos que ele não pesca tão bem como dizem que pesca, né? Nada de anormal. Continue procurando por pistas. Ó, sair do... É só falar com o pescador aqui.
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000. You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Vou
Hello,
aproveitar
we're
sim.
from the Society for Fish Price Research. We'd just like to ask a few questions.
Wow, she switched identity again.
Mas tá impressionada.
Society for Fish Price Research? I haven't done anything illegal.
Calma,
Stay out of my
aí tem
business.
rabo preso, hein?
Please, don't worry. We're just here to conduct a simple survey. We've heard about a certain Zhi who's been selling fresh fish at low prices in this area recently. Do you know anything about this?
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I
Diga,
can tell you what
diga.
I know. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was him.
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount of debt. No one wanted anything to do with him.
Tá, será que tá...
He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had a bandage wrapped around his head. And he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But still to this day, he doesn't have a lot of mora to his
Será que ele
name.
tá pagando a dívida do pai
I
ainda?
mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a few mora. So, I wouldn't be surprised to find out he's been selling a few fish. It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business. Don't tell him I said that.
You'd rather
Sei.
he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that he really cares what other people think of him. I think he has pretty low self-esteem, but hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved already puts most people to shame. And nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him. That's all.
Tá.
Well,
Por enquanto
thank you
nada
for
é
sharing
tão
that with us.
alarmante, né?
Not a problem. And just for the record, There's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
Sempre tem uma
The
coisa de
more
errado.
times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
É.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. Okay, let's keep going.
Ainda nada de tão alarmante assim.
Hey, it's you guys. Wait, what's the phrase?
Dugu Show.
Honored to meet you. What brings you to me?
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial artist, Master Dugu, who knows everything there is to know. Hence, we sought you out to ask for your guidance.
Sabe de tudo.
Really? People said I know everything there
Disseram,
is to
disseram,
know?
claro que disseram.
But of course. We also heard that Master Dugu is a kind and virtuous swordsman who never turns away anyone who comes with questions.
Great! So what do you wish to know? Nothing happens on this street that I don't know about.
Ele ficou empolgado, hein?
Now she's lying to a kid.
De qualquer forma, ele parece bem feliz. Vamos supor que foi, né? Uma mentira bondosa.
So, Master Dugu, have you heard of one by the name of Jur-E?
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about these days? I've heard many tales of jury. For example,
Ih, rapaz.
I can't remember. Probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about sword-fighting heroes.
Não ajuda em nada, então.
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then let me ask you this. Do you remember roughly when the grown-ups started talking about Jur-E?
Oh yeah, I know that. It was about 2 or 3 months ago. Before that,
Tá.
people always used to talk about jury in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But 2 or 3 months ago, suddenly everyone started to
Ih,
like him.
rapaz.
Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Just as I thought.
Huh?
Será que
What do
ele
you
fez alguma
mean?
coisa pra ter
I
dinheiro?
mean, just
Ou
as I
ficar
thought,
famoso?
Master Dugu is indeed as kind and
Do
virtuous
nada
as
ele
the
ficou.
legends
Todo
claim.
mundo gostou dele.
I'm not that great. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before talking about jury stories in the street. They seem like nice people.
Oh, definitely.
Great! So next time I see them, I'll say hi. And I guess I can share some of my candies with them too.
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure my friend would also like to say hi to them.
Thank you, ma'am!
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well, Master Dugu.
Isso ajuda em nós, gente.
Until we meet again.
Any of that sound strange to you?
Tô confuso, sim. Ele ficou há 3 meses atrás, ninguém conhecia ele, porque do nada todo mundo começou a conhecer.
Strange? What was strange about it? Ji seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle Gas spoke highly of him, and Dugu Shuo seems to like him too.
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost seems too good to be true.
Sudden? Too good to be true? What do you mean?
Pai.
So he returns cruelty with kindness and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. But Uncle Soon said even his friends who travel far and wide hear about him wherever they go. That's a little over the top, if you ask me. Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Jur-E's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, he wasn't interested in the details. That's the reaction I would expect from any normal person. Plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Jur-E has only been happening within the last 2 or 3 months. His childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor, none of these are recent events. So why are these stories only going around now?
When you put it like that, it is kinda strange.
É estranho,
Of course,
pai.
if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Jur-E was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying, traveling, or paying off debts. I don't
Alguém
think he has
está
the moral to pay for a
ajudando.
publicity campaign.
Talvez esteja trabalhando com alguém, né?
Right. And that changes everything. It can mean a powerful faction is trying to gain influence over the Liu at Xixing. That's
É,
the worst case scenario. But all too often, the most pessimistic speculation turns out to be closest to the truth.
descobrimos
Someone's
coisas.
trying to gain influence over the Qixing? That sounds serious. What should we do? Even if we asked Jiri about it, surely there's no way he'd admit it.
Vamos seguir ele, vai se encontrar com alguém.
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry, I've got a plan. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after taking office, their manifesto tells us their stance on key issues. Whoever is secretly helping Jir-E must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. So, we should be able to find some hints in Jir-E's manifesto on who we're dealing with.
Será que é o Fatui, velho?
Let's get back to Yanshang Tea House.
Será que é o Fatui que tá junto com ele? Será? É.
Jir-E's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't add up will be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I'll divide the reports into two piles. You take one, I'll take the other. When we're finished, we'll put our heads together. Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So we have to get to the bottom of this as quickly as we can.
Tranquilo, tranquilo.
We better hurry.
Whatever else Uncle Tian might think of Jir-E, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite students. Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look carefully and think critically.
Será que tem como errar nessa missão? Vou me sentar aqui, ó. O livro.
Even though Yelan took half, this is still a lot to get through. Well, we gotta start somewhere.
Ué. Lê o capítulo Mar. Devido a vários fatores, as tempestades marítimas nos últimos anos se intensificaram. Recomendo a criação de uma patrulha especial para lidar com os monstros marinhos. A configuração de frota seria... Escreve concisamente, né? Sobre vários assuntos relacionados à defesa costeira. Vamos para o capítulo Rocha. Muitas lendas dizem que o Rex Lapis, né? Deixou muitas riquezas nas montanhas de Loe. Mas como as escavações do espinhadeiro foram suspensas, muitos projetos foram interrompidos. Os mineradores da Forja do Penhasco Obscuro estão ociosos, né? Ociosos na Casa Dourada, né? Há bastante tempo. Eles devem ser os primeiros mobilizados no caso de novos projetos. Descreveu a mesma coisa, a mineração, túnel, exploração, ruína, assuntos relacionados. Tá, nada de tão alarmante. Vamos para estradas, né? Muitos lugares, como a floresta de pedra e o pico não vou pular. Estão localizados sobre montanhas íngremes, né? Inconvenientes para o transporte. Os picos são conectados apenas por pontes suspensas, apresentando risco aos seus transeuntes, uma dificuldade ainda maior para o transporte de produtos. Entretanto, esses lugares são ricos em ingredientes medicinais e minérios. Se uma estrada pudesse ser feita ao longo da montanha, melhoraria, né, a vida de todos. Acho o segundo que eu tô só curioso pelo segundo. Parar de ler.
Oh, this reading is giving
Só o segundo que me deu uma dúvida.
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Hum.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers, Shanghua!
Foi o primeiro a
If you're
chegar.
back, that means you finished investigating Tianwei, right?
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us your
É,
findings.
diga logo, pô.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Tianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive appraisal of him.
Tá.
The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Tianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Ok.
Who'd have
1-0.
thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of the businesses under his name?
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked around and found out that almost all of Tianwei's accounts are open to the public. Where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protecting it at all.
Tá, 2 a
Tianwei
0.
often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is pretty infuriating when you think about it.
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business to make mora, but instead...
To validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights. It's all the result of his first-hand experimentation.
I'm back!
Tá 2 a 0 pra ele.
How come you're here?
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills and am always one step ahead of the competition. Well, when you're the competition, at least.
Ele venceu essa.
Ugh, whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I hadn't had something else to take care of on the way, I would have been back long before you.
Ah, tá 2 a 0
Lady
pro
Yelan,
carinha
I
arrogante
have
lá.
finished investigating Mingbua.
Well, we're all ears.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Mingbua struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting with strangers.
Ponto negativo. Pra quem vai
But
falar com
after
muita
a few days of
pessoa.
getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the Ministry of Civil Affairs was very positive. He always considers the things that everyone else overlooks.
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Mingbua at all exaggerated?
I don't believe so. Mingbua is someone who has slowly but surely earned the reputation he has today. According to Miss Yu, the ministry often gets Mingbua to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Mingbua gave them the scolding of a lifetime. Apparently, he can be terrifying
Não,
when he
é
loses his
tá
temper.
2,5
I
aqui
haven't seen it for myself.
pra ele. Ele
Whoa.
perde ponto porque ele não sabe se
Hard
comunicar.
to imagine.
Like I said before, things are not always as they appear.
Ah, so that's what you
Ele
meant by
estaria com
that.
3 agora, hein?
I'm starting to get it now.
Thank you both. You're free to go now.
Ele estaria com 3 se ele conseguisse se comunicar.
So, have you finished reading the manifesto?
Sim.
Still have a bit left.
Não terminamos ainda. Vocês terminam de ler o livro de planos com Irana.
I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual entries. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Cheongshu Pool redevelopment plan.
Do que se trata?
Cheongshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there, so there are even more secrets buried deep underground. At some
Então,
point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure buried beneath Cheongshu Pool. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team conducted an exploratory excavation there.
So, did they find any treasure?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the solid rock would have been by blowing it open with a special kind of explosive. The technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the excavation project was shut down and the treasure became a mere legend. Jur-E's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. It seems out of step with the rest of his plans. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this treasure. The treasure hoarders, the Fatui, even local Liyue factions.
Todos estão na estaca zero, hein?
Did you find anything?
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of the manifesto?
No último capítulo, rochas. Afora do penhasco no obscuro, não.
Oh yeah! Juri said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first refusal if any suitable projects come up.
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Jur-E wants the Blackcliff Forge to excavate the treasure of Qingshu Pool.
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is Juri's secret supporter?
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any powerful factions at present. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should see where they lead. We may well find something new.
Onde é isso? Penhasco obscuro.
Shanley and Mingboard both turned out to be completely different
É, mas
than
ele tem
what
que
we
se comunicar melhor. Ainda mais com a função que ele trabalha. Esse lugar eu nunca fui, não. Isso é o quê? É algum... Ah, Casa Dourada. Eu nunca fui nessa região, né? Mas a gente vai no próximo. Que é gigante.